to clear as loading resumes as depots. That story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying blackout as national grid collapses again. Blackout as national grid collapses again. That's on page 20 of the Punch newspaper this morning. This one is saying Kyari's fate divides reps. Kyari's fate divides reps. That story is on page 28 of the Punch newspaper this lovely Tuesday morning. And we have this one say protest rocks Nigeria, Bangladesh, United Kingdom. Protest rocks Nigeria, Bangladesh, United Kingdom. It's not just about Nigeria protesting now. Protests rocking other countries too as we speak. I can get full details of that story on pages 2, 27, and 29 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying federal government asks workers to register for 40,000 naira rice. Federal government asks workers to register for 40,000 naira rice. That story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper this morning. We have this one saying Lagos chief's murder. DPP indicts police inspector. Lagos chief's murder. DPP indicts police inspector. That story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, from the Punch newspaper this morning, we have this one saying riots. Nigeria, Indonesia, Australia warn citizens about travel to UK. Riots. Nigeria, Indonesia, Australia warn citizens about travel to UK. You can get full details of that story on page 27 of the Punch newspaper this lovely Tuesday morning. And that's it from the Punch newspaper. Very quickly, let's check some other newspapers this morning. Venue. Okay, that story there, we're checking okay, let's check some other newspapers this morning. Let's check the Vanguard newspaper this morning with this one saying Kaduna Zaria boil over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days. Kaduna Zaria boil over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days. That story is saying it's coming from Abson Kasima. That story is also it also has some riders here saying Kasima Abson count losses as protests become violent in Kaduna. Zaria continues in Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Jos, Benin. Rescue Nigeria now. Protesters with Russian flags beg Putin in Zamfara. And we have this one saying Russia not party to flags flown. Okay, Russia not party to flags flown during protests. That's coming from the Russian embassy there. We have this one saying Tinubu security chiefs meets. Police arrest 31 for distributing, producing Russia flags in Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, others. Can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying, federal government wants Nigerians as UK travels. Starmer vows swift sanctions against rioters. This one saying, federal government warns Nigerians on UK travels as Starmer vows swift sanctions against rioters. I'll take that again. Federal government warns Nigerians on UK travels as Starmer vows swift sanctions against rioters. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Igbo must go threat, Southeast Senate caucus waits in. Igbo must go threat, Southeast Senate caucus waits in. Can get full details of that story on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Protests, hoisting foreign flags in Nigeria treasonable. That's coming from Tinubu. Protest, hoisting foreign flags in Nigeria treasonable. That's coming from Tinubu. You can get full details of that story on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And here this one saying global stock markets plunge on US recession fears. Global stock markets plunge on US recession fears. You can get full details of that story on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying court voice sale of Nigeria Air to to Ethiopia Airlines. Court voids sale of Nigerian air to Ethiopian Airlines. Can get full details of that story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Still from the Vanguard newspaper, we have this one here. You can see picture of protesters on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. They tag this one as protest snapshots. Yeah, it's written here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. You can see pictures of some Nigerians waving the flag of Russia here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. And that's all we have from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Very quickly, let's check the Guardian newspaper with this one saying federal government prioritizes NAS state house spending amid MDA's funding crisis. Federal government prioritizes NAS state house spendings amid MDA's funding crisis. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then we have this one still from the Vanguard newspaper this morning saying military vows crackdown over treasonous use of Russian flags at protests. Military vows crackdown over treasonous use of Russian flags at protests. You can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. We have this one saying reps dissolve panel probing allegation of dirty fuel, blame negative media coverage. This one says reps dissolves panel probing allegation of dirty fuel, blames negative media coverage. You can get that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. We have this one saying EFCC warns council chairman against mismanagement. EFCC warns council chairman against mismanagement. Can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then we have this one saying our federal government, oil majors sacrificed privatized Niger Delta orders for profits. Our federal government, all majors sacrificed privatized Niger Delta orders for profits. Can get full details of that story on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. I have this one saying the protester defies Tinubu's plea, continue demonstration in Rivers. Protesters defy Tinubu's plea, continues demonstration in Rivers. That story is on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Still from the Guardian, we have this one saying US may become largest crude supplier to Nigeria refinery years after it stops buying. US may become largest crude supplier to Nigeria. It is Nigerian refineries years after it stops buying. That story there is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. All right, we have this one saying INEC registers fresh 177 914 voters for Ondo Edo polls. INEC registers fresh 177 914 voters. Okay, let me take that again. INEC registers 177,914 voters for Ondo Edo polls. INEC registers 177,914 voters for Ondo polls. Ondo polls. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this lovely Tuesday morning. And that's all from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Let's check the Nigerian Tribune very quickly. Military warns of treason as protesters fly Russian flags in Kaduna, Kano orders. Military warns of treason as protesters fly Russian flags in Kaduna, Kano orders. We have this one saying, say we won't accept push for undemocratic change of governments. DSS arrest tailors suspected to be mass producing Russian flags in Kano. Russia distances self from flags flown during protests. Curfew in Bauchi, Kaduna Plateau. That story is on pages 4 and 24 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Ladoja to receive beaded crown next week after council meeting. That story is on page 14 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. NCC direct telcos to simplify tariff plans, data bundles for subscribers. That story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Nel Fund disburses July upkeep stipends to 20,371 students. Nel Fund disburses July upkeep stipends to 20,371 students. That story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. FG issues travel advisory to Nigerians flying to UK. FG issues travel advisory to Nigerians flying to UK. That story is on page 14 also of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And we have this one saying Nigerian equities markets withstands global crash, dips by 0.2%. Nigerian's equity markets withstands global crash, dips by 0.2%, and saying Nigerian stock markets even for foreign investors. That's coming from stockbrokers there. Some stockbrokers are speaking, saying Nigerian stock markets and even for foreign investors. And that's coming from the stockbrokers. Their story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Still from the Nigerian Tribune, we have this one saying Reps dissolves joint committee investigating NNPCL, NNDPRA. And get full details of that story on page 29, page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And yeah, saying now we have this one here saying court declares sale of Nigerian air to Ethiopia Airlines null and void. Court declares sale of Nigeria air to Ethiopian Airlines null and void. You can get that story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Off-season elections, INEC update register with 119,206 in Edo, 58,703 in Ondo. Off-season elections, INEC update register with 119,206 in Edo, 58,708 in Ondo. Can get full details of that story on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. You can also see the picture of protesters waving the Russian flag here on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And that's all we have from the Nigerian Tribune. Very quickly, we'll be going on a very short commercial break, and when we return, these lens will return, and then we'll review some of the headlines that we have this morning. Do not go anywhere. Do not forget that we are streaming live on Facebook this morning. Yeah, we are live on Facebook. You can go check us out and watch the video, see us the way we are right there in the studios, and then you could drop your comments on some of the salient issues we'll be discussing this morning. Do not go anywhere. Stay glued to your radio set, because we'll be back to review some of these headlines when we come back. It's still News Lens right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. still Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And right about now, we'll be going straight into the analysis of some of the stories that we have this morning. Like I told you earlier, we are streaming live on Facebook. Yeah, we are streaming live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can check us live on Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Drop your comment there and like our videos and like our streams on our Facebook page this morning. Okay, this morning I have with me in the studio Kayode Ajani. Good morning, Kayode.
Good morning, Tayo. Good morning, our listeners and viewers.
Okay, this morning we have a lot from the newspapers, and then this one that caught my attention very well is all about Nigerians waving the Russian flag during protests. It's just so sad that we can see we find this happening at this point in time. And then let me take this headline from the Nigerian Tribune. Military warns of treason as protesters fly Russian flags in Kaduna, Kano, others. And then says we won't accept push for undemocratic change of government. DSS arrests Tailors suspected to be mass producing Russian flags in Kano. Russia distances self from flags flown during protests. Coffee in Bauchi Plateau. Coffee in Bauchi Kaduna Plateau. That story is on pages 4 and 24 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Kayode Ajani. Some Nigerians were waving the Russian flags during protests over the weekend, and some were still doing so yesterday. Will Russia come to our rescue? Let's start with that. Is it this is Nigeria? Nigeria is a sovereign society, so to speak. So at this point in time, why should Nigerians be waving? It is our own problem. It's our internal issue. We should be able to deal with it ourselves. Why should some set of people be thinking that some states from other parts of the world that would come and help us out?
Thank you so much, Tayo. Well, it is quite unfortunate when I also saw the news and read through the incident. So it is quite unfortunate, and just as you have rightly said, every country of the world today have one or two issues that they are also battling with internally, and we cannot deny the fact that yes, there is hunger in the land, there is unemployment, and there is insecurity, but we should also understand that Nigeria is all that we have. So our agitations for better governance is to demand for a better governance from the government. We are not fighting against the state. So I think that is what the protesters, especially those that are taking opportunity of the protest, and I think that is why government before now were also not okay with the protest of 18. Because they also felt that it will be hijacked by some people with other motives. Yes, and that is why you see people looting libraries, stealing, or better still, because should we even use the word stealing? They took chairs without taking books. The videos is all over. So, but speaking as regards the people, raising the Russian flag, it is quite unfortunate, sincerely. And then I think we will continue to play our own part to sensitize people that yes, we all know that we are not happy with the current state of the economy in all ramification of it, either the health sector, the education and so on. But at the same time, we must also understand that we must channel our demand in a rightful way. Russia is not the one that will come and save us. Russia as a country is not the one that will come and save us. Neither USA. But at the same time, we must also understand that even in the course of demanding for what is our right, we must do that within
the ambit of the law.
Dictate of the law. Exactly. So now, if the government should start arresting people now, are we going to say that the government is wrong? No. So I think our people too should be conscious of their action. They should know what is right, and the fact is that we all know what is right. That is my own belief. People know what is right, but because of the fact that well, should we relate it to high level of poverty? You know, that is when some people will now convince it, because if they should do a thorough investigation, we will uncover those that are behind this.
Yeah, definitely. Because some set of people have been arrested already by the DSS yesterday. Some tailors courts are producing
Beyond the
sewing.
tailors.
And definitely the tailors will tell us who gave them the contract to do. Because the flags it was massive. It was not just it wasn't about just not 5, not 10, not 15. It was so much we are especially up north there. Okay, talking about the flags being flown. You know, Nigerian is a sovereign society, like I say, and then nobody will expect Nigerian government to cross legs and fold arms at this point in time, looking at these people, because that speaks volume. It speaks volume a great deal, and the president has come out to say we won't allow that. That is treasonable.
Yes, even no president of the world in any society, in any country, that will allow such. That is the fact, because it is a threat to
our own internal democracy. Yeah,
exactly. So we should all condemn it with everything. That's why I started by saying that, fine, it has been established that there is hunger, there is insecurity, there is massive unemployment and so on. But then our agitation is towards demanding for good governance and not internal war against the state. You know, this is more of a war against the state, if not because of the fact that the society that we are now, it is a very delicate one as regards the anger in the land. Assuming there is no protest to end bad governance now, I can assure you that there will have been a massive arrest. Yes, but the government too are being careful.
Yeah,
you know,
I was about saying that the government too needs to be sensitive at this point in time.
Yes, exactly, and that is why government is also coming out to give advice and to warn.
You know, as a matter of fact,
if not that, there will have a massive arrest.
As a matter of fact, the president suspended the fake meeting yesterday, and then he met with security chiefs. Instead of having fake meeting, he was like, let's have a security meeting yesterday. Security chiefs came on board.
It's a very serious issue, and we must just appeal to Nigerians that are listening to us that we should not allow people with other motive that we do not know to take advantage of what is on ground. Yes. The government have actually responded. They have acknowledged the fact that there is hunger in the land. So let us give the president time.
Okay. As regards the issue of the security meeting yesterday by the president, yesterday, let me give an insight as regards that. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu met yesterday and presided over the National Security Council meeting at the State House, Abuja. The meeting, which was attended by all heads of security and law enforcement agency, held inside the president's office. Also present at the meeting were the Vice President Kashim Shettima, the Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila, and the National Security Advisor NSA Malam Nuhu Ibadu. The meeting came amidst the nationwide protests against hunger and bad governance in the country. Recall that the President had earlier in the national broadcasts pleaded with the organizers of the nationwide protest to suspend, especially as it has gone violent in some states with the attendant loss of lives and destruction of property. Meanwhile, the president has postponed the week's Federal Executive Council meeting to an undisclosed date. Rather, the meeting was expected to have been attended the Vice President, National Security Advisor, House Service Chief, the Inspector General of Police, the Co-Controller General of Customs, and the Immigration, and the Chief of Staff to the President. Many are saying the President shouldn't be sleeping at this point in time, and then I can bet it to you. The president probably is not sleeping now at this time, because there's been a series of meetings he's been organizing and been chairing some meetings as we speak presently, especially security meetings. Do you think the president should do more in terms of security at this time, Kayode?
Yes, and I can also confirm to you that the president is actually doing more. But you know that security issues, for those that actually understand it, it is not something that you come on head to discuss all the time. And then I think that is why we think that the president is not doing enough at this point. And just as we have rightly mentioned earlier too, it has been established that there is hunger in the land. So the president also understands how sensitive the current situation is. Yes. So it is as if is actually between the middle of what we always describe as, devil and evil. I can't remember how we'll always do that description during the course of the last general election. Yes, so at this point, is quite being careful, not to escalate issues as well, because the fact is that we cannot afford to go into another internal crisis. And we cannot really predict how this internal crisis always starts. And that is why the president is quite being, careful. But that being said, I'm also convinced that the president and his team, that they're actually working internally, because there is no president of this world in any part of the world, even a president that is not even alive, in quote, will allow such evil thing to continue under his watch. So we should just continue to speak to Nigerians in our own different capacities too, that giving government time is very, very important. But at the same time, we must also be careful in ways at which we express our grievances.
All right. Talking about nations having their own internal crisis, in the UK currently, as we speak, there's a protest going on, and then the Prime Minister of Britain has even come out to say, "Excuse me, you guys, we will deal with you if your care is not taken. Just be careful." Same thing is going on in Bangladesh as we speak. It seems it's not in the UK, everywhere in the world. As we read in the headlines too about the global stock markets are plunging as U.S. recession fears. There's a fear that U.S. will even enter into recession as we speak. But then, amidst all of this, it just many people, citizens of these countries, will be angry. But then, the way we put our grievances forward matters a lot. It's not about us inviting other nations to come and take over our own territory. That won't be accepted in this time and age as we speak.
We can't
even afford it at this point. Talking about internal war this time around, talking about internal crisis. Some set of people have been talking, and then many are saying, if care is not taken, this too might lead to another internal crisis. Talking about the Igbo must go threat. I'm sure you must have heard about it, Coyote.
Yes.
Southeast Senator caucus are waiting as we speak, and they are saying this shouldn't happen at this point in time. There's been a counter response from some Igbo indigents too, talking about why should you. This is Nigeria. Every one of us belongs to Nigeria. You watched the video yesterday of an Igbo man saying 99% of the investments of the businesses going on in Lagos is being owned by Igbo guys. And then I just asked the question, it's not all about the businesses alone. You see Yoruba people in the Igbo land too, in this fast and far away southeast, and then you see so many Igbo people right here in the southwest. It's about us as a country. As we speak now, we all are still Nigerians, so to speak. But then you can't say some certain set of people should go and then some certain set of people should leave. Talking about the Igbo must go crisis, let me take your view and thought as regards that, Coyote.
Yes, well, it is the most insensitive agenda to push at this time. Yes, and this is not the first time that some set of people will be pushing that agenda. Of course, we have all agreed in the past that the marriage of 1914 was done was unnecessary. Yes, let me put it that way. We all agreed at the point, but at the same time, we are now together. So definitely, we must find a fair playing ground at which
we are now together and we are still together.
Yes, exactly. We don't have any choice. A lot of people have actually, written extensively on that amalgamation, that it was one of the most unfortunate things that happens to us as a people. But at the same time, we also don't have any other choice than to find, reasons to live together, and we have been living together. So I think what is important is how we'll manage our diversity, how we'll manage our differences. This is what is most important at this point. So I will not subscribe to people calling that the Igbo must go. Just as you have rightly mentioned, we have the Yorubas to every part of the region, every part of the country, be it Hausa, be it, and this is not the first time. Years back too, we had the similar issues in the north when they were saying that people should leave the north and so on. So I think we have some people somewhere pushing all this agenda for their own benefit. To me personally, I don't think it is in the interest of the majority of Nigerians that, okay, Yoruba should go back to their place, Igbo should go back to their place. No. It is not in the interest of the majority. So, but what we cannot rule out is that despite the fact that we are living together, that we are Nigerians, there are still some issues that we must address. Yes, and then I think this should be our our advocacy, point of advocacy, instead of pushing that okay, so person should go back to that region. No, I think we should discuss, issues that threaten our unity. Yes, I think that is the best word. So we should discuss issues that actually threaten our unity instead of calling for separation or asking some people to leave.
With respect to that, the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra has spoken, and they have lashed out on the facilitators and the purveyors of the Igbo Must Go campaign in the southwestern parts of the country, saying it was high time they convoked a referendum for Igbo to exit. It said it was laughable, and the authorities in the southwest were threatening the Igbo Must Go campaign and its proponents with a wave of the hand, adding that the Igbo people were already on ground and feared no fall. According to the group, indications abound that the sponsors of the Igbo Must Go proponents were highly placed individuals within the Lagos state and the federal government, urging the southerners to be cautious of their actions in the southwestern region of the country. He heard what I just read there. I said, the Eagles are falling already, and they are not ready. They are not scared of falling again, and they are saying that they are ready to have a referendum. And let's talk about the unity, like you just said. Maybe everybody should go their own ways. But then, do you think this is necessary at this point in time? Let's find a balance before we start thinking of any other thing.
Yes, finding a balance is very, very important. And I think we should also be mindful of what we say. There are some comments too that can actually be frustrating. Just like saying that the Igbos owns 95% of the businesses in Lagos. Where do you get your data from? Yes, you see, these are comments that actually serve as threats to our unity. And then, in all honesty, as we are condemning those that are calling for the Igbo to leave, we should also speak some sense into our Igbo brothers too. Yes, because we cannot continue to push some certain comments forward and you think that your host community, because I think that has been one of the issues in Lagos now, issue of who owns Lagos. Yes.
This debate of Lagos is a no man's land has been going on very long time. You cannot
continue to push some certain narrative into the faces of your host, and you think that they will also be comfortable with it. It is not done anyway.
Truly, is Igbo a no man's land? Is Lagos a no man's land?
Well, I really don't have an answer to that. Not to escalate issues again. But the fact is that we also just as we have Lagos, we also have Port Harcourt.
We have Enugu.
So can a Yoruba man now lay claim to Port Harcourt as being a no man's land? So I think these are issues of the sense and the mind.
Interesting one there. Let's move on to some other stories. Do not forget, we are streaming live on Facebook. You can drop your comments on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM is the handle. You can drop your comments, and we'll definitely read them when we see them. All right, let's go to this. EFCC wants council chairman against mismanagement. Yes, EFCC wants council chairman against mismanagement. I deliberately want to read this story because 2 days ago, it came out in the news that the chairman in Oyo State, the local government chairman in Oyo State, have pulled out of Argon, saying they are declaring their solidarity for the governor of Oyo State, saying they are in support of whatever the governor is doing. And now the FCC chairman is coming out to say, be warned, local government chairman, anything you do with local government funds, you'll be seriously dealt with. Carry their journey. Let's start from them pulling out. Oyo State Algon pulling out of Oyo State chairman rather pulling out of Algon. What's your take on that?
Do you know one thing about
in solidarity of the governor?
Do you know one thing
with the governor rather
about the oppressor and the oppressed? The oppressor will continue to have their way because there are some people, part of the oppressed, that are actually in support of the oppressors. You know, even when you give some people freedom, they will still stay with that. I don't want, and that is the case of the local government issues, especially in Oyo State. You know, it is quite unfortunate, and I'm just happy that the power of the people, you know, will prevail at the end of everything, and that's why I'm happy with the headlines that you just roll out now. That despite the fact that the people have been talking, you know, the voices of the people have actually caught the attention of the EFCC. Now the EFCC too are speaking. So, and I think it is a good start for us. Yes, now we know that we are not just speaking in vain. You know, our effort has begun to materialize with EFCC coming on board, and I think that will be the beginning of wisdom.
Beginning of wisdom for whoever needs wisdom at this point in time. All right, just so you know, let me not say that this morning. Okay, let's check some other headlines this morning. Talking about the House of Representatives setting up a panel of inquiry into the some comments as regards fake petroleum products in circulation in Nigeria. This one saying reps dissolves joint committee investigating NNPCL, NNDPRA. That's according to the Nigerian Tribune, saying reps dissolves a joint committee investigating NNPCL, NNDPRA. That story there is on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, and the same story here is still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, saying reps dissolve panel probing allegation of dirty fall, blame negative media coverage. That particularly caught my attention. If there were no information flying out from that quarters, media wouldn't have covered it. Then the House of Representatives now saying it is due to bad media coverage, negative media coverage that is allowing. Is it the media that is producing fake fuel or dirty fuel, so to speak? Because there was a huge back and forth between Dangote, NNPCL, NNDPRA, and all of them like that. Some side of it, Dangote even at some point had to say, "But we know you guys. You have a refinery in Malta. We know you guys. You know how you deal shadily in some of these oil business and the likes like that." And then the NNP House of Representatives coming out to tell Nigerians now saying that they've stopped that investigation. It is negative media coverage that is causing all of the problem. What's your take on this, Kayode?
Well, my take is that, you know, they will say that because of the fact that, to a large extent, you know, journalism has been redefined in Nigeria. You know, and that is why most of them see true journalism as a threat. Because originally, you know, journalism is presenting what the oppressor will not want you to present. That's the fact. You see, journalism is not about, yes, governor want to commission road, president want to commission road, want to commission hospital. Is
it about let me take you on that. Kayode, is it all about journalism alone? Because that's what Nigerians have been reduced to.
Exactly.
Governments commissioning road, governments providing borehole water, governments commissioning housing estates. Are those not the responsibility of the government in the first instance?
Exactly my point, Tayo. So by the time you see media houses doing what true journalism is, investigation, putting out what the oppressors do not want you to put out, they will now see it as a threat or as hate speech. You see, this is the kind of situation that we are now. Those in power do not want people to actually know what is actually going on, and that is the problem. You see, that is why they will begin to tag some news as, you know, being sensitive, being confidential, and all sorts of names. So this is the kind of situation that we find ourselves.
And the most interesting thing about this saga is the moment some certain revelations were being made, we saw some adjustments very quick and fast.
That's the point. They fear the media. Yes, you know, they also know what is right, and they also understand the power of the media. But because of the fact that you know, journalism over the years has actually been reduced to whoever that is bankrolling the various media houses, it has actually reduced the power of the media to serve as the real watchdog. Because
the fourth estate of
yes, ordinarily the arms of government, they are supposed to serve as, you know, watchdog for one another.
Serve as check and balances
Yes,
for each other.
but they have actually failed in that regard. And the only hope in that line is the media. But unfortunately too, over the years, some big people too have able to pocket some,
the body media, so to speak.
it's
Let's
kind
say it, the body media.
it is quite unfortunate.
Okay, you're talking about some of the adjustments that have been made in time past. We've always been clamoring and say, why not, the news came out and that I'm going to be buying crude oil in Nigeria with dollars. And then I could remember we went against that, saying that why would Dangote be buying crude oil in Nigeria, doing business in Nigeria, and be buying crude oil in dollar? But then the president, after all of those back and forth, the president came on board and said, you know what, sell crude oil to Dangote in Naira, sell crude oil to all other refiners in Nigeria, others modular refiners, sell it to them in Naira, and let us grow our Nigerian business. Don't you see, probably, like you said, the media is a very great tool in achieving all of this.
Yes. You see, what we can actually achieve in the studio in 2 hours.
Right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short time out. Seven FM. The studio lines are open right about now. You can call in and drop your comments and as regards some of the things we discussed in this morning. 07047007999. 07047 007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933. 08053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. You can also drop your comment on Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook this morning. You can drop your comments and then we'll definitely read them when we see them. Kayode, Himos was making a joke before we came back on air talking about the federal government 40,000 naira bag of rice. Civil servants to register to get a 40,000 naira bag of rice. Probably that's another way to cushion the effects of the hardship in the country as we speak. What's your take on that? Civil servants to register to get a 40,000 naira bag of rice as the federal government starts the sale of the 40,000 naira bag of rice. What's your take on that?
Yes, thank you so much. I was about to mention that earlier, but it skipped my mind about subsidy. Yes, I think we need to understand that subsidy in itself is not evil. It's the countries of the world subsidize a lot for their citizens.
You subsidize things that are essential. Yes. Like food.
United States that we all talk about today, they subsidize a lot of things. Health, food, a lot of any aspects that you want to mention of human life and human development. So I think that is why I'm also in line with one of the demands of the protesters that the subsidy on fuel should be returned, but it should be checked and coordinated so that the fraud in it will be addressed. So because we cannot deny the fact that at this point, people need support. Our economy needs support. And you will also agree with me. Despite the fact that the government removed subsidy on oil, on fuel, they are most of the palliative of government are also in form of subsidy. Giving people 50,000 that you cannot trace, that you can. It is more of subsidy.
I'm always
we are just deceiving ourselves.
As regards to our distribution of 50,000 naira to people, I'm always skeptical about. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. Let me put it that way.
So
because I don't understand why distributing 50,000 naira to people, and then eventually you realize that most of the people that said that they've been distributed that money to, they won't get it at the end of the day.
Yes.
They ask them, where did the money go to?
So, sincerely, it is quite unfortunate, but just to sum it up, well, it is a good one that at least they are starting with the workers. So, and I think it is for it to be coordinated. Yeah, so it is a good start.
Okay, the studio lines are still open. 07047 007999, 07047 007999. Can also call us on 08053 888933, 08053 888933. Let's check some comment on Facebook this morning. We have this one from Sergio Joseph Maya saying, "Good morning, Mr. Tayo. Well done for doing a great job. I want to disagree with Kayode saying Mr. President is just being careful with his silence. Okay, and please, I want to ask, is Mr. President enemy of private business? Considering the fact that this ongoing protest is killing private businesses and the president is not ready to come out with balance between the two." Live from Bauchi State. Thank you very much, Sergeant Mayor of Live from Bauchi State. You've made your comments and this morning. That's your own thoughts and that's your own opinion. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm Alaji Tunde Olaiwola from Akobo.
All right, please make your point, sir.
Nice meeting you.
And you too.
Let me start from the rice.
Okay.
You see, what we need, let this rice go to the market and set up monitoring units so that everybody will get, if not a bag, at least you will be able to buy the quantity you want. You see, and these are temporary measures. Palliatives are temporary measures, not permanent. Let our farmers be able to access their farms. That is very, very important. And you are saying you are importing tractors. You are building houses. Houses for who? Houses that common man will not be able to get. You see, no common man will be able to pay 5 million or 10 million for the 2-bedroom you want to build or 1-bedroom you want to build. But let the price of building materials come down completely. The building the iron sheet you are buying for 18,000, 14,000 is now 50, is now 100, 108. I don't want to mention the types. You see, 60, 100, 108. Where would they get it? Iron nails, 4 inches that will buy for 4,000 is not 48,000. How will you expect a poor man who has not been able to feed to build even a small room, put his head on? So all this they are doing, they are just tricking the people. They are tricksters. They need to do the needful. They know what to do, but they won't do it. Sharing 50,000, how many people will get it? Where is the data? Now, local government, some people have collected Gary and maize now. Nobody, no citizen of Nigeria has collected it. They only share it among themselves.
Right.
It's not possible for the poor man to access these things. So government should do the needful. Let farmers be able to access their farm. Let there be security everywhere. Let those who are putting up Russian flags. If you look at the picture, these are innocent children. And what will happen? These children are innocent. They don't know what they are doing. But that is not the law. You see, you people giving bone for children to go out in the morning without feeding them. It is not happening in here. But because of the ignorance, what of the buildings, the schools they have built for Alimanjiris, they just use it to siphon money. So the brother elders should please have a rethink.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And ensure that their children go to school.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Sulaiman, for giving back. Thank you too. God bless your day too. All right, let's pick this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Mr. Bassey John from Kosovo State.
All right, Mr. Bassey John, please make your point.
The problem of this country, sharing parity for people, it will not be the option. Sharing money from some group of people, it will not be the option because the money did not go around. The parity did not go around. But you don't be serious about what they are doing. If it's a parity stage, how they share it. Even the one they give last time, they did not reach everybody. Now, registering for rice. How many people will register for that rice? How many people can afford that 40,000 to register? How many people benefit for that rice? The best thing is to open border and make things cheaper for everybody. For a common man to buy a cup of rice and good. Some people buy only one cup to manage themselves in their home. Some people will not afford it. So if they say they should register for rice, how many people will afford it? How many people will register it?
Thank you very much.
Try to open border and bring food in. So a common man to go to market and buy a cup of rice, 100 naira. And buy a cup of gari, 50 naira. That want to reach everybody. And let pension people pay their pensioners. People are suffering.
Thank you very much, Mr. John.
Imagine somebody that worked for 36 years.
Sorry, Mr. John, we have to let you go. First, okay. Thank you very much. For us to be able to pick other calls, we have to let you go this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Coming from NFP, this is Femi.
Okay, Mr. Femi, please make your point.
I want to appeal to the federal government. This palliative is not the solution to our problem in this country now. Instead of sending money, giving people money, they should put that money on fuel. But also the price of fuel can come down. The suffering is too much in the land. Of course, I think if petrol comes down, every other thing will come down too. So please help us to appeal to the federal government. They are listening to us now.
The federal government is listening to you too as you are speaking.
They are pushing us to the wall.
Okay. All right, you've made your point. Thank you very much, Mr. Femi, for calling the radio station this morning. Let me read some more comments on Facebook this morning. This one coming from Sulaiman Sharif saying good morning and kudos to everyone in the studio. We need a genuine action from Mr. President. We are tired of series of promises without fulfilling it. Where are the CNG buses he promised us in Oyo State, except the Omitutun buses which were provided by Oyo State government to cushion the effects of the removal of fuel subsidy at subsidized rates. May Almighty God guide our leaders to fulfill the interest of the masses. All right, that's for me from Sulaiman Sharif on Facebook there. And this one from Emmanuel Chuku saying good morning. Good morning to you too, Mr. Emmanuel Chuku. Ogbeni Odeyemi Omokure saying well done and good morning. Good morning to you too. And we have this one from Adirunke Akurede Oladele saying good morning. What we expected from the president is not what he's giving us because all the speech and his words were were achievements not what we are protesting for. The cost of food in the market is high, and the masses are really suffering. And the solution the federal government is providing is distribution of palliative, which cannot solve the problem because the palliative distributed cannot be enough for a single local government in Oyo State.